Hey, welcome back, rankers. I wanted to talk to you this week about conversion rate optimization. So it's something we've always done, something we've always had people doing in here. And there's always been this debate about a thing called sliders. So there was an article this week from Joost, I don't know how to say his first name, sorry, Mr. Yoast himself. And he came out and said that basically sliders suck. And he gave a awesome blog post with lots of supporting data from some incredible people who I kind of respect when they're talking about conversion rate optimization. Certainly Tim Ash is quoted in there, and I've known Tim for several years now, and Tim's been saying to me for quite a while, sliders suck, get rid of them. He says it to everyone. And then I met this bloke over in Russia, and Tim, another Tim, I don't know if you have to be a Tim to do conversion rate optimization, but I'm going to have to rub a little bit out of my letter J and we'll be right. But Tim also said the same thing, sliders suck. And he said, sliders typically, the first one gets all the clicks and then the second slide doesn't get any clicks. But we did have some people say, well, hang on, Neal Patel, well-known digital marketer, and awesome publisher of content, came out with a video and said, no, sliders are okay, also last week. So I thought, well, that's quite odd. So we went and had a look at this, and he says, should you use sliders on your website? And then he says, yes. Incidentally, that little ding, 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 I don't know if you heard that, I don't know if I recorded that. That little ding, ding, ding is part of Neal's marketing. Personally, all of these pop-ups and ding, ding, dings and all those sorts of things I find annoying, but Neal says they work, so I'll take his word for it. This is what he is calling a slider. Something that slides out as a pop-up essentially, but just whilst you're reading. So we're not talking about the same thing. When Neal talks about those sorts of sliders, he's talking about something equivalent to a pop-up. What we're talking about with sliders are things like this. So this is arguably one of Australia's most popular e-commerce sites, and you can see we've got this big thing up here that keeps changing. That's what we call the slider, and it slides along. And the problem with them, and this is my understanding from people I've spoken to, is that I'll hit that thing, and what if I'm not after that phone by Google, or what if I'm not after this computer? What if I'm just here to buy? So you're presenting all this information with your most valuable real estate of your homepage right at the top, and you're delivering a message to someone who probably or may not want to hear it. So that's the problem with sliders, and then it keeps changing. The problem from my perspective with sliders is the speed shackles that it adds, because every one of these images is something else the user has to download. So it's slowing your page load time, which is a killer. And as we know, with speed, it's probably our major focus now as an issue with sites, especially e-commerce sites, right? So we did a little exercise, and we don't have a lot of data on this yet, but we're not fond of sliders, and we're always telling clients to get rid of them. And a lot of clients absolutely love them. So that's where they have to put their sales information, their clearance sales, all that sort of stuff. They see it like, I guess a lot of retailers see it like their shop window, trying to attract people in. The thing is that people are already in your store when they hit your homepage, right? So get them that information as fast as possible. And speed is so important on so many different levels. Like, we know now that people, 40% of the traffic will hit the back button if your page takes 3 seconds or longer to load. So that in and of itself is an important consideration when you're thinking about these sorts of sliders, because you've got to add more real estate to the homepage. The other thing that we know with ranking and traffic from Google is that we talk about pandering quality and where content is on the page and all the rest of it. The thing that we know is that if you are a retailer, having this at the top of your page will hurt your rankings. Now, JB Hi-Fi has got a massive brand, so in Australia, they probably don't have to worry terribly much about these sorts of subtleties. But if you're a smaller retailer with not as big brand, I would highly recommend getting rid of anything above the fold that is hampering or stopping or making it more cumbersome for the user to get to the product information as soon as they possibly can. Now with bloggers, it's different. With bloggers, we want content up the top of the page. We don't want ads. We don't necessarily want sliders either. But I'll give you, for instance, we've got one client in particular where they have a lot of content at the category level page, a retailer. So let's just say black boots might be the category, which is a very good category, obviously. And then they have like maybe a spiel, 2 paragraphs or whatever on how good black boots are. Now the problem with that for a retailer's site is that the user isn't there to read about black boots. They're there to get the product, black boots. So you need to make it easy for them to get to that product as quickly as possible. If you're a blogger and you have product information or ebooks or whatever at the top of your page, and people aren't necessarily there for most of the time to see that information, then we know from Panda that if you have ads or clutter, or if people have to scroll to get to your content, to your words, then you're probably going to rank a bit lower because people can't get to that information as quickly as they need to. So different types of site will have different rules as far as Google goes, or will have different signals as far as Google goes. But one thing is clear, and that is you've got to make it as easy as you possibly can for users to get to the information they want. And having a slider is going to slow that down. So what we did during the week was, and not a lot of data yet, right? But it's interesting. So this site, small retailer, and not a massive brand for the category, but here, and we're only talking a period of 5 days essentially. So we don't have a lot of data, but a 34% increase in conversions is not too shabby. You'll find organic did the best, or had the best reaction so far. And look, this probably won't be as pronounced over the next week, 2 weeks, month, and we'll bring some data back on that. But certainly, we're always telling clients that we're not real happy with sliders, but for the most part, they are so happy with them because I think it's like the front window shop dressing or something. But this is a great site, which is in that Yoast article. And should I use a carousel? So these sliders are often called carousels. So should I use a carousel? And this is really good. Carousels are this decade's blink tag. I like that one. Anyway, have a look at the Joost article and have a look at heaps of other content out there about why these carousels or sliders slow the process down for a user and are rubbish. If you've got a different experience, if you love sliders, either as a user or as a site owner, please let us know. I'd love to hear contrary stories to why sliders work. We've had people in here who, as users, say, oh no, I like sliders on certain types of sites. And hopefully it's helpful. And if this has been of any use to you at all, or the show's of any use to you at all, please share it with your friends and your neighbours. And remember, the best way to stay in touch with us and keep up to date is to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is just /Jimboot. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.